5 albums that made me want to play guitar? Hmm. Hey folks, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. So this video I want to talk about the 5 albums that got me started playing guitar. So this is kind of chronological. These are like the first 5 records that I can remember that got me really interested in playing the guitar. And they're not necessarily my favorite 5 records. They're not. There haven't been records since, but just thinking back, these are the 5 that kind of, forced the guitar on me, got me picking it up and playing. I mean, I've been playing for approximately 40 years. I'm still a guitar hack, but I still love it. And these were the records that initially lit the fire. So here we go with number 5. My introduction to heavy guitar, sitting in my uncle's Trans Am listening to his 8-track. And one of the 8-tracks he had was Nazareth's Greatest Hits. Nazareth's Greatest Hits is a real greatest hits. Every song on that absolutely smokes. The guitar playing on there, the tone, Dan Cafferty's smoky voice. I mean, just that got me fired up. I'm like, I've never heard a guitar sound this cool. So, one of the first albums that got me into it, was the first time I heard some really heavy, crunchy guitar, and that was Nazareth's Greatest Hits. Was that a Kiss song? That was a Kiss song. And my number 4, that was Making Love, which is a song off Alive 2. Alive 2 is the first Kiss live record I got. I mean, the packaging was amazing. The sound, the power of the guitars married with that amazing image that they had. I mean, if you're a kid, what would I have been at that time? Maybe 11 or 12 years old, and you're looking at, the great sounding power guitars and the image, and those two together, I mean, that makes a lasting impact, and has definitely lasted on me and into my adulthood. And yeah, I still love those songs. I still love Ace Frehley. He's a reason for my Les Paul obsession, and my vibrato. I try to sound like Ace. Anyways, but yeah, that made a huge impact and definitely made me want to pick up a guitar. So for my number 4 is Kiss Alive 2. All right, now on to number 3. Well, this one may sound like it comes out of left field, but not really if you think about it. My number 3 is the Sex Pistols, namely their one album, their only real official release, which is Nevermind the Bollocks. At that point, I'd already started playing, learned the bar chord, and when I came across that record, because again, I'm completely self-taught, no lessons, just learning by bits and pieces, but that was a record where you could pretty much play the whole record. Just if you knew your bar chords with the root on the 5th and the root on the 6th, you could pretty much play along with every song on that record. And man, I played along with that record a lot. And to this day, I still love that record. I mean, is it a punk record? I just think it's a really great rock record, whether you like punk or not, But yeah, if you haven't listened to Nevermind the Bollocks, it's a must. Steve Jones is masterful. I mean, just the tone and the playing on that, and it's just, it still holds up for me anyway. But yeah, so number 3 is Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols, and here comes number 2. I know everybody knows that album. It's, I don't know, top 2 or 3 greatest selling rock records of all time or something. Back in Black AC/DC. I mean, come on. Well, I heard that. I was already fooling around with the guitar. And this I would have been like probably in grade 9, like 1980. And man, this is the record that's the first time I started paying attention to the interplay between instruments, and I noticed that every time Phil Rudd hit the crash on the guitar chord, that guitar chord just sounded so much bigger. So that was a record when I started kind of looking at the, discovering the chemistry of the band, the bass player, and AC/DC is a great model. You get the bass player underneath holding it down, you got the drums locked in, and then you got those, crashes at the, same time as the chords and making them sound better. Everything very strategic. Crash, 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 bang, bang, bang. I mean, that was the record that I started. Okay, this is how a band works. So it's a little bit of an education for me, but and I mean, to this day, I mean, is there any better album, rock record? I mean, top to bottom, I can't think of a lot. Just the guitar tones, the songs themselves, the performances. I don't have to sell Back in Black. It's the highest selling rock record out there. But anyway, my number 2 is Back in Black, and here is my most recent chronologically record from my 5 that inspired me to play. Here's my most recent coming right up. There you go. Black Sabbath. That was Voodoo, which is off of Mob Rules. Mob Rules came out in 1981. And of the first 5 albums that really inspired me to play guitar, this was the most recent. And what appealed to me about Mob Rules, and it was my first exposure to Sabbath. Yes, I'm a Dio guy when it comes to Sabbath, but what really floored me on that record is the power, the bigness, the epicness of the guitar. And that was a record that kind of opened my eyes to how big and how epic rock songs can be, and just the mighty riff. I mean, those riffs on that record. I mean, Iommi is the absolute riff master, and also making his guitar sound giant, and just that sheer power of the riff, and Iommi playing. And I remember seeing actually the Mob Rules tour when it came through. Man, that guy's just, I love Tony Iommi. I love him. So that was the most of the first 5 records that really inspired me to play. That was the most recent. And I mean, there have been albums later on. I didn't get into Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin until later. And then I'm a huge Rush guy, love Rush. But those bands came later. But these were the first 5 records that kind of really got me into playing. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. Also in the comments, let me know what 5 albums first got you interested in playing. That'd be a cool discussion. And again, if you want to help support the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, and there are links below as well, and all of that helps the channel. And thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.